Inner Peace Better Health with your host, Saima. Today's guest is the living proof that long term love doesn't have to mean dull routines. Meet Cristie Cerniglia, a relationship coach, mom of four, geeky to three, and a ridiculously happy wife of over 30 years. Christie's mission: helping women reignite joy, passion, and playfulness in their marriages, even if the partner isn't playing along yet. Now, if you have ever wondered if romance can survive the long haul, Christie says absolutely yes. So, Christie, you radiate joy when you talk about marriage. So, what's the secret to staying happy in love after 3 decades?
Hi, Simon. Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think a lot of things that as women that we need to learn that no one has taught us along the way. So that's what I consider my passion. But um, I think that one of the keys to a happy marriage is staying happy ourselves because miserable people don't have happy marriages. Happy people do. And so that means that we have to take care of ourselves first and not wait for our husbands to make us happy.
Hmm? So, was there ever a time when things weren't so joyful and what shifted for you?
Yes, definitely. Every relationship, every time two human beings get together, there's going to be strife and there's going to be difficulty and there's going to be disagreement, right? So, certainly, every marriage has those times, and our marriage has as well. And that's when ours was at its most difficult place, is actually when I found the book, The Empowered Wife by Laura Doyle. And that what that book did was began to show me what some of my shortcomings in the marriage were, because it's very, very easy to blame the other person and say, my husband would do this, that, and the other, then we could be happy. But I don't have any control over him. So it's much more helpful to look at me and say, what do I need to change? And what can I do differently to kind of change the dance between the two of us?
It's actually refreshing to hear that happiness is about perfection, it's about presence, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, you help women rekindle the romance even without waiting on their partner to change. So, how does that mindset shift everything?
Hmm. Well, I think that we all know that we mirror each other in a lot of ways. And so if I show up to the interview and I'm grouchy and have a ugly look on my face and I'm short and snappy, that's going to impact the way you respond to me. But when I show up happy and joyful and friendly, then that impacts the situation. And so there were a lot of ways in my own marriage where I was showing up grouchy and difficult and maybe a little prickly, that were causing my husband to distance himself from me. And when I began to change those things, then he began to show up differently for me. And I actually began to get a lot of the things that I was wanting out of the marriage that I wasn't getting with my previous strategies, but I didn't know any different, right?
Mm-hmm. So, can one person's joy really transform the dynamic of a whole relationship?
Yes, it's true. And I've seen it happen over and over again. And the great news, a lot of women, a lot of wives who come to me will say, well, Cristie, why do I have to do it? I think that he needs to change. Why can't he do this? Well, the point is that you are the one who is wanting to see something change. And if you're a wife and you've ever waited around for your husband to make some changes, you probably ended up just as frustrated as I did. My husband wasn't making the changes. And so at least when the changes are in my hands, I know that I can make them happen, right? So that's where that empowered wife comes from. I am empowered because I can make changes in our relationship. And as women, we are very influential. When, there's the saying, if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. And the opposite is also true. When mama is happy, everybody's happy, right? Because we kind of set the tone and we set the temperature in our homes and in our relationships. And so when we as women change the way we show up, it does make a big impact, much more than you might imagine.
That's indeed so empowering, Christy, healing the relationship by healing your own vibe.
Yes.
Now, in your own coaching, what's the most common emotional block that keeps wives from feeling fulfilled or playful again?
Well, I think the first thing that I always start every wife with is self care because like I said before, so many of us are waiting around for happiness to just land on us, and we're not really taking the initiative to go and get happiness. And so, one of the exercises that I take women through is making a list of 20 things that bring them joy. Maybe they like to ride a bike. Maybe they like to take a bath. Maybe they like to call their sister on the phone or go have coffee with a friend. I think that one of the mistakes that women make today is that we think when we hear the word self care, first of all, we think it's selfish. And secondly, we think it's expensive, right? Like I have to go spend a day at the spa for thousands of dollars.
Mhm.
No, that's not what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting that you read a chapter in a book that you enjoy, or listen to a podcast, or watch a television program that you enjoy. I'm just suggesting that you are kind to yourself so that you can do things that you enjoy just to make you happy so that you can show up for your husband and your family better.
That's noteworthy. So, how do you help someone let go of resentment or scorekeeping in love?
Oh, scorekeeping. Yeah. Well, I am convinced that resentment is the poison that kills our marriage. And so scorekeeping and kind of having these expectations that aren't talked about, and then he doesn't meet them, and then we're angry, and it just builds up into a poison that can kill our marriage. And what I have found in my own marriage is that there's always blessings and there's always challenges. And if I put all my focus into the challenges, which is real easy to do, then I'm going to feel bitter and resentful towards my husband. But if I take my eyes off of those for a little while and focus on all the blessings and the good things about him, how he goes to work every day, how he takes the trash out, how he drives the kids to their practices, all the different things. And we can all find things about our spouse because we're the one who chose them. Then I can shift my focus to what's good about this man and about our relationship. And I start feeling better immediately from that. So, where can you find gratitude in your marriage and how can you express it? Because I think a lot of times our husbands get the feeling that we're just plain unpleasable. And that is a very discouraging place to be where you feel like you can't please your partner.
Mhm. It's like resentment can really clog the flow of love. It's like emotional cholesterol, right?
That's a great way to put it.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah. So, can we let go of the resentment and embrace the things that we love about this man? Because he's not perfect and neither are we.
Absolutely. So, how do love, laughter, and emotional connection support not just relationships but also inner peace and physical health?
Oh, wow. Um, I think that our thoughts really impact our life. And so, again, if I focus on the negative, it's going to take me to a negative place. What I focus on grows. And so I really want to focus on things that are good and lovely and worthy of praise, things that bring me joy and things that make me love my husband and my family more. So I would invite women to take an inventory of what's happening inside their mind. I call it a thought download. Just write down all the thoughts that you're having about your husband, about your family, about your life, about your marriage, and decide which ones of those are poisoning my life and which ones are enriching my life, right? Because we want to have thoughts that are taking us in the direction that we want to go. But guess what? Our brains are offering up all kinds of negative thoughts that will not serve us. So I work with ladies on flipping their thoughts. So if they're having the thought that my husband never spends time with me, that is a thought that's going to take you down the tube. And why not flip that instead and decide my husband enjoys spending time with me, and then become a woman that's fun to spend time with.
Hmm? So, have you seen stress related symptoms lessen when women embrace more joy at home?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of times wives are waiting for their husbands to make them happy, and it's too heavy of a load for the man to carry in addition to everything else he's carrying. And it's not his responsibility to make us happy, it's our responsibility to be happy. And so let's take 100% responsibility for that and do the things that bring us joy so that we feel better mentally and physically, right? I mean, there's all kinds of research out there that tells you that when you move your body, the endorphins start going, right? And you feel better physically and mentally. So, certainly, when we let go of stress, when we let go of unrealistic expectations of our spouse, of our kids, of the people around us, in all of our relationships, we will be healthier and happier in the long run.
You know, it's like our hearts and hormones really do respond to emotional safety and sweetness, right?
Yes. Yes, yes. And so I would put together a new set of thoughts that you want to practice to take your life and your marriage and your health in the direction you want it to go.
Hmm. So, can you share one simple shift a listener can make today to start feeling more connected in the relationship?
Yes. I would say one of the things that really, really helped me was separating my husband and I, and I say separating our papers and realizing and recognizing what's on my paper and what's on his, right? One of the struggles that we had for a long time was me wanting him to be healthier, to eat healthier, to exercise more. And what I realized is that his body is on his paper, right? That's for him to manage and handle. All I can do is handle my body and my paper and what I eat and how I exercise and those things. And when I try to get involved in the things that are on his paper, that's called control. And it is very off putting. It's not attractive. It's not something that brings us together to connect us as a couple. It's something that actually separates and damages our intimacy. So I would encourage the women who are listening to really separate their papers from their husbands and say, okay, what's my responsibility and what do I have control over? Because all I can control is me, my thoughts, my actions, my words, and then he needs to control his. And sometimes when we just do that, it frees us up from a lot of unnecessary stress and burden, right? Because I no longer have to carry his health along with my own. Only responsible for me.
I completely agree with that. So, what's your go to ritual to bring fun back into a busy or tired marriage?
Yeah, well, when I take good care of myself, then I feel good and happy, and then I am more fun to be around, right? So I make sure and do 3 things every day just for my own happiness. And then I show up with gratitude for my husband. I try to think every day about what I can appreciate him for, why I'm thankful to have him in my life, how he makes my life easier. And when I show up like that, guess what? He does want to be around me and he does want to come together and connect.
Ah, I love that, the reminder that love isn't always a grand gesture, it's in the small, soulful sparks, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Thank you, Cristie Cerniglia, for reminding us that love can still feel like dating even decades in. You have given us all permission to play, laugh, and lead with joy. No permissions, sleeps required. And for all our
Yeah.
listeners, mhm, follow Christy at Relationships with a Map. And remember, the spark is always there. It just needs a little space to breathe. Until next time, choose peace, choose playfulness, and always choose